Lady Charmaine, and my guest today is known as Stimpy on the original Ren and Stimpy animation. He was also the voice of Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd in Space Jam and a host of characters on Futurama. He's the very definition of a voice artist, and he's here today to talk about Futurama DVD Volume 7. I want you to help me welcome the awesome voice artist, Billy West, to the show. Hey, Billy, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going over there?
Everything is good if my voice just keeps from trying to go out, but I'm so glad to have you on the show. My husband introduced me to Ren and Stimpy 18 years ago, as a matter of fact. And
Little girl?
yeah, I wish I
You're
was.
probably a little girl, right?
Oh yes, yeah. I'm gonna say yes. I was a little girl when he introduced me to Ren and Stimpy, but it's so funny because I told him you were coming on the show today, and the whole time you had to hear it. He was doing all the voices from Ren and Stimpy. I triggered something, and he was going all through the house. I guess I took him back to the show.
Wow.
Did you realize your show was going to have such an impact on so many people even today?
I wasn't aware of it at the time. I mean, it was really going blazingly well, and I was living in New York City in the Lower East Side, and I had no idea that all this mania was going on. And one Sunday we took a walk and went by a pub, and it was crowded, and people were drinking Bloody Marys, and I said, "What the hell's going on in there?" And the guy said, "This is Ren and Stimpy party, man." 11 a.m. in the morning.
Wow, yep. That was my husband, so I had to watch all the videos with him. Can you imagine dating somebody watching Ren and Stimpy? But yeah, so I wanted to know, how did your career even begin? Because you do some amazing voices. I read off some of the characters that you play. How did your career even begin? Were you just a little boy in your room just making up these voices?
Yes, I kind of lived in my own little world, and I don't want to set a bad example, but all throughout my childhood, I really had no use for academia. I was a smart kid, and, I had talent, but I had no idea, and no one will ever let you know that you do. It was one of those little 2-by-2-inch square worlds where, what do you think, you're better than that? All that junk.
Wow.
The anger. Everybody's so damn angry. Everybody. There's a fast food commercial out there, and they're talking about their burgers, and all of a sudden there's a huge angry backlash about this fast food place that says, "We even have a garden burger just in case your daughter is going through a phase." So all the vegans and vegetarians go nuts. Meanwhile, the news is showing like deadly storms and across the country and floods that could put a whole city underwater and because of the ocean rising, and we have people sitting there that have the time to go, just in case your daughter is going through a phase, I'm calling the FCC.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. But I do want to ask you this question. What intrigued you growing up about making different voices in characters?
What intrigued me, well, I was inspired. I was always playing with puppets and little wax figures, and they all had voices. I mean, it was just, back in those days, my family was really, really poor, and one day I found gold in the closet. It was rolled up, unused wallpaper, so I could do a continuous comic strip. Mm. Yeah, big ones.
And so...
I just thought this was so great. It's like if I want to see something cool, I'll draw it.
So how did you get the voices to go along with it? Were you drawing characters, and then you put voices to those characters you drew?
Well, yeah, it had to be completed. So I would always give voices to anything that I got my hands on, like little figures or whatever, or the cartoon strip. I'd have voices for those, too. I was a freak, that's all I can tell you. I mean, I've never really analyzed why I can do what I do.
Wow.
But I like, what it is? I'd rather have, magical thinking about it, because if I know too much, I'll know what the limitations are.
That's a great perspective on that. I never looked at it like that. So how did you...
I don't want to know there's limitations,
How did you get discovered?
I worked in radio in Boston, but before that I was a guitarist and singer in a band for years, many years. and made a living. And on the mic, when we broke a string or an amp blew up, I used to have to kill time, and people looking at us. And it's like back in those days, we didn't have roadies and all that junk. And so somebody else would be stringing my string while I had to just start talking. And I think the people enjoyed me just, throwing stuff against the wall, trying to be funny than my playing. I don't know.
Okay, so I want to talk about, before we go, Futurama Volume 7 is now out on DVD. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because there are so many voices, from Philip Fry to Professor Hubert Farnsworth. Let's talk about that real quick.
That's on, that's out. I think that just came out, but I have a feeling that I should talk about Futurama that's premiering new seasons tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's tonight at 10, 9 Central, on Comedy Central. The episodes that are going to show Futurama, they're brand new. You got to see them. I think this is the best season we've ever done. And there's an episode called 2D Blacktop, and it's Professor Farnsworth. And he talks like this. He joins a gang of street racing punks. Now, he's 147 years old. So he's going to be like, yo, 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 yeah.
Okay, so we want to make sure.
And then the other one is Leela's Big Fling, and Fry and Leela go on a vacation together, and everything goes wrong. It's just one of those. They've been trying to get together forever on this show, and they never quite do it. And so I guess this is the closest it might come to them having some kind of serious relationship.
Okay, sounds good. So we want to remind everyone to make sure they check out Futurama tonight at 10. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I know you got to go. But if you're on Twitter, are you on Twitter or Facebook, in case people want to follow you?
Oh, you know what? I'm not. I'm on Facebook. And there's a website, BillyWest.com.
BillyWest.com?
Yeah, and I'll have up, it's under construction, but I'll have up some info and some news and all that.
Okay, great. Well, we look forward to having you back on the show. We want to remind everyone to make sure they check out Futurama tonight at 10 p.m. Billy, it was a pleasure having you on the show.
It was a pleasure to be on your show.